Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and in today's video we're going to learn how to make this beautiful dress with frills, with flounce. And for this particular dress, the fabric used is called accordion, and you will need maybe 1.5 or 2 yards and you are set. Now this is the fabric that I'll be using, and I'll be cutting the front and back at the same time. No zipper, because of the nature of the fabric that we are using. You know that if you use this particular fabric, you don't have to add lining to it, you don't have to add zipper, just normally. And this particular one that I have is transparent. Okay, so since it's transparent, I will be wearing something inside for it. But if the one you got is not transparent, then you don't have any issue. Right now, I'll fold this fabric so that I can cut the front and the back at the same time. I'll fold once and I will fold again, okay? Now, after folding, I'll do my normal cutting. The front and the back neckline will be the same. The armhole will be the same. The job in this particular dress is not too much at all. Only the flounce area. Now I am done folding into two, and I will trim off the rough edge so that I will have a straight cut. If you're working with a good accordion fabric, you don't need to pipe the neckline. We call it piping, like turning it with bias or lining. You don't need to do all that. Now my neckline is 3 by 3, but to be on the safer side, make it 2.5 and 3, like 2.5 for the width and 3 for the depth, so that it will not expand. You know, the neckline expands because of the type of fabric you are using. Then I will get my bust points, my hip line. This is my hip line 26, and this is the full length. I want to make the full length 45 inches. It is a 3/4 dress. Okay, now I will go ahead and mark my armhole. You can see how I'm marking my measurement the normal way. Then 1 inch for shoulder slope. For my bust, I divided my bust by 4 and I marked with 1 inch allowance, just 1 inch. At the waist, I will divide my waist by 4 and I will mark. And my hip, I will divide my hip by 4 plus 1 inch and I will mark also. Now after doing all this, I'll go ahead and cut a straight line. After cutting my straight line, I will cut out the side. I'll cut out the sides. And after cutting out the side, I will have 2 pieces, one for the front, one for the back. Then you can see that the armhole stopped at 2 inches above my bust point. Now my bust point is 10 inches, but 2 inches above it is 8. Like 2 inches above your bust point is your armhole line. So 8 inches is where my armhole stopped at. Now I'll add my 1 inch. I'll cut out my 1 inch for shoulder slope, and I'll cut the remaining parts of the dress, and that is the armhole. Now if I separate this, you will notice that I have 2 right here, and I still have some fabric remaining, and that is what I will use to cut out my sleeve. So this particular one here is folded twice too. I will measure my round sleeve. The full length is 10, and I'll go ahead and cut it out. Like my round sleeve is 14. I added extra one to it because I don't want the round sleeve to be too fitted. Then I cut out. If you notice, I'm not adding any allowance at the hem because you don't need to hem this dress. You don't need to hem it at all because of the type of fabric that we are working with. I hope you understand. So right now I'll open this up, and you can see that I have 2 pieces of sleeve. I'll go ahead and shape them. I'll use 1 inch to shape the sides of my sleeve. Right now, the next thing that we are going to do is to slit where we are going to add our flounce. Okay, now I'll open up this dress. It is still 2 pieces here. The front and the back are the same here. Now that flounce will start at 3 inches. It will start at like 2 inches below your underbust. So the underbust that I am working with is 13 inches, right? So I came down by extra 2, and that is 15 inches. Her underbust is 13. I marked 15. So this is 15 inches line on this dress. From the shoulder, this is 15 inches. Then I will add lines for my flounce. I'll have to open it up so that it will have a neat finishing. So this one that I marked right now, the first 2 dots that I made are 4 inches away from each other, and I will mark my straight line down. After doing that, I'll go ahead and slit, like I will slash this from here, and it will stop at that 15 inches line. So what will happen is that 2 flounce will be on these 2 lines, one on this line, one on the other line, then extra 2 on both sides of this dress. So if you count it from the front, you should be having 4. One on the right hand side, one at the first line, one at the second line, and the other one at the last side. Okay, so you have like 5 flounce. You can see I had to cut this on my front and on my back, like I had to cut it together so that all of them will be on the same line. Now this is the paper that I use to draft my flounce, and first of all I want to measure the length of that slit that I made, those slashes that I made, slashes, sorry. Now after doing that, I got 30 inches from that 15 inches line down to the full length of my dress, and I'll find the midpoint of this paper. I divided this one into 2 and I got 19, and then I got the midpoint. So this is the midpoint of this paper. I will mark a straight line to divide this paper into 2, horizontally and vertically. So after dividing this paper, you should be having like a cross sign. Okay, you can see how they met each other at the middle. Now after doing this, I'm going to mark a 1-inch circle at the middle of this cross line that I marked. Okay, at the middle of this particular line that I marked 1 inch circle, and I connected the circle. This is 1 inch. Then the length of my flounce is 6 inches. From one side of the circle, I'll mark 6 inches. This is 6 inches. I'll come up by 6 inches from that 1-inch circle that I marked, and that 6 inches I will connect it to the other side of the circle. Then I will start marking 6 inches round. 6 inches is the length of my flounce, like the breadth. Let's just call it the breadth of my flounce. Now after marking this 6 inches, you enter the first line that you mark. This is more like a spiral, so it will continue. It will be a continuous circle. Now I'll connect the first 6 inches that I marked earlier. After connecting it, I will measure. Like I will measure to check if I have gotten up to 30 inches. 30 inches is supposed to be the length of this flounce. Then the breadth or the width of the flounce will be 6 inches. 6 inches is okay. If you want, you can make yours 8 inches. I use chiffon for this flounce, but you can use organza so that it will stand very well. Now I'll continue marking my 6 inches, and this is where I decided to stop at, because at this point I have gotten my 30 inches. Okay, so after marking to the end of this paper, I will stop. This is where I will stop at. Then I connected the line to the next circle there. Now I'll go ahead and cut this out. I'll cut out the outside of this paper, the outer part of this paper first of all. After cutting it out, then I will start cutting my spiral circle. So this paper is what you are going to use. For me, I'll always advise to draft it on paper before you transfer on fabric. It will make it easy for you. And the flounce that we are going to be adding to this dress will be 6. 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and 2 on both sides. Okay, so that will be 6, right? Now after doing this, I'll go ahead and measure the length of this flounce that I have, and I'll make sure that it is 30. So I'll measure out 30 inches from the inner part of the circle, and this is where 30 inches stopped at. Now this is what I will use to cut out my flounce. Getting my after doing this, I'll get my chiffon. This is my chiffon fabric, though I don't think I like using chiffon for this. You should use organza or a thicker chiffon so that it will stand better. Now this chiffon is on fold, and if I place this flounce on it, I'll get 2 of it. Like if I place this flounce on this folded chiffon, I will get 2 pieces. Okay, now once I get here, I will start cutting out my spiral. This was actually hard for me because working with chiffon is not really easy. Okay, now I'll start cutting. Now after cutting this, I will cut out the second one, and this second one is 2, because you can see that this chiffon is on fold. I'll place and cut this 2. After cutting this one, I will cut the last one, and that will make it 6 pieces. Now after doing this, you go ahead and weave. If you don't have weaving machine, you may decide to line your flounce, but doing weaving or overlocking the edge of your flounce is the best and fastest option, right? Now this is the last one. This is the last one, and after that I will open them up so that you can see that I have 6 pieces there. You can see what I have right there. So I will count them to make sure that I have 6 pieces of flounce there. Now I will start counting. And you can see I have 4, right? And now 5 and 6. I'll go ahead and overlock them. Now I am done overlocking the flounce, and this is my dress. So what I'm going to do is that I will go ahead and place the flounce in between. Like if you get one flounce, you fix it in between the opening that you have right there. So I'll go ahead and place it so that you guys can see. I'll place this one on the side. This one will be on the side seam. Sorry, this one is inside this particular line. Then this second one will enter the second line. This is how you arrange it. Then you get the other two. You fix one on the right hand side, like the side seam, and then the other one at the other side. If you have excess, you can go ahead and pleat it, nothing much. Now after doing this, I'll repeat the same thing on the back. So this is the back piece. I'll just add 2 pieces here because the one I placed at the side part of the front will serve as the side for the back also. Now after doing this, like if you insert it there, you close them. If you insert, you will stitch and close that line. Just turn the line, your fabric over, and stitch. Now I am done stitching those lines. I took small allowance like 0.4 and I used it to stitch all of them. Now after stitching, I will get the back piece. This is my back piece, and I'll place the 2 of them together and shape. Okay, after shaping, you close your shoulder. You don't need to hem the full length, and then you will add your sleeve, and that will be the end of our tutorial. Bye.